Looks like we're live. Yeah, we're green. Let me just tweet out that we're gonna be here. I've added, reluctantly added Twitch followers notifications. They're Batman the Animated themed. Uh, I'm s- I'm like, on one hand, I'm kind of like, this is kind of ridiculous, and on the other hand, I'm kind of like stoked because it's Batman the Animated series. But we can do. I can show you a test follow. Yeah, we'll do a test follow real quick just to make sure it's all working. There you go. I don't know why it chimed twice. Maybe it chimed twice because then I heard it. I don't know. Um, but yeah, it should be working, and the alert box is up. And I apologize to the 31 followers who did not get that alert, but you know, we all make small sacrifices in life, and that's what life is all about. Um, So yeah, we've tweeted it out. We're live. Here's where we left off from this cover. Uh, we're gonna do the background before we get the dessert of the tentacles. Um, we're gonna do kind of like a sun thing back here. That's gonna like overlap with the buildings a little bit. Uh, One of the things that we're gonna mess with is we're gonna start kind of riding over the line art a little bit, which will be fun, but also a little bit scary. Don't be scared. I got you. We're gonna be fine. But let's mess with the. So I can't tell. There's like graffiti in the book. I don't know if this is graffiti. It doesn't necessarily look like it. It looks like that thing is just separate. So, all right. Um, all right. How do we start this? Should we start? I guess we should start back to front. Um, yeah, let's start back to front. So let's do the sky stuff first. I'm gonna grab a color that is opposite on the spec. On it's like opposite on the color wheel from green to kind of a red. Uh, that's also kind of where the aesthetic of this book lives. Is this kind of kind of dirty duality. Like there's not a lot of like color patterns um, or color palettes that are bouncing around the color wheel like crazy. It's kept very minimal. I'm getting on a beach ball. That's a good sign. I'm just gonna do that, handle that early. All the all the beach ball. Rip stream. uh, Here, where's give me give me that brush. Thank you. Thank you, Photoshop, for helping me out. Uh, So yeah, a lot of the shadows are lit by the opposite tone on the color wheel, while the highlights are, the other half of the color wheel. It's kind of like a weird thing that I'm doing. Traditionally, painters do this a lot. Like the idea that when you shine a green light on something, you're gonna have a warm shadow, and when you shine like a warm light on something, you're gonna have a cool shadow. That's a normal painting artist thing. Uh, so yeah, we're kind of making by doing that, we're making the sky grungy, and we're also like, you look in here, uh, it like, I don't know, has this like weird kind of metallic kind of like taste to it. Uh, and that is definitely in line with how the world is. We're gonna make this like the hard light source though, so hopefully it won't negate too much of that grunge. I've also started kind of like, so this is like this greenish grungish that's like too red. So like I've started to play with, grabbing like chunks that are non-specific like that, and then like doing a wash, like a very faint wash, 10%, just to like make it kind of like give it a little bit of an edge, a little bit of chunk, a little bit of weirdness. Um, I'm pretty happy with that. It's a little, we could have faded that brush a little bit. Yeah, let's fade it. But it creates these like weird shapes that kind of look like clouds, kind of. Uh, so it's a little cheat for that. Um, and we are going to shine a light down on this whole alley. And actually, Jeremy kind of like, I think he wants that because like the way he drew it, which I will show you in a second. The way he drew it, it's like a lot of detail down here, not a lot of detail down here. It's just like the basic shape. So that part being far away and kind of cast in light, and now it looks kind of like overcasty and weird. That's exactly what we want. So we're going to select all of this. You know what? Let's just use the alpha layers that we had set up to help us. Let's actually help us. So okay, here's a weird thing. So we don't want to select the sky here, but the sky is like all these different colors now, so it's a pain in the ass. So we're just gonna select around the sky, and then magic wand the additional stuff. So instead of like 40 clicks, it's like 3 clicks, 5 clicks. And let's mask that off too, so we can grab it if we need to. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, he gritty as fuck. Uh, the Colorist Jam was like real successful. We kind of did one that I didn't run, so I just jumped on like somebody else's. It was a Daredevil that Brian Level drew, who's extremely talented, and everyone should follow him. I don't know if I can show you that because it might have some unnamed projects on there that you're not allowed to see. But let me see if I can find that Brian Level Daredevil. Yeah, we did. It's loading right now. Yeah, I did this Daredevil for it. That was like freaking nuts, and I love doing it. But I think I fucked the costume because I did his classic like red and black. But apparently it's supposed to be the opposite. It's supposed to be like black with red trim. It's a different costume that I wasn't familiar with. I don't know. But yeah, there's like a ton of these floating around from a bunch of different colorists. That happened like 6 or 8 months ago. And we were like, hey, we should do more of these. And then nobody just kind of took the reins. So yeah, let's take the reins. Let's do this. I want to do this regularly. I was thinking maybe quarterly because everybody's busy, and asking them to do it monthly is a little rough. But uh, yeah. So let's try to figure out what we're gonna do with this background. So this is kind of like where this book lives. Like, darker, warm, lighter, cooler. Uh, yeah, Brian Reber is very, very talented. He's been coloring comics longer than I have. And I think he's looking for work right now. So if there's any potential publishers out there, scoop that guy up. Uh, yeah, there was a ton of like there was in every version there was something cool going on. And actually, when we did the Brian level one of the things was I did it like next to last rather than first. So I got to see what everybody did, and then I got to be like, okay, now I'm gonna outdo you. And this time it was like, oh, I'm gonna throw together this thing, and then everyone's like, oh, I can do that better. And then I'm like, god damn it. So I think the next one I gotta like really, really bring it. That's the plan anyway. Like I think that like the Thanos I was happy with for sure. Like it wasn't bad, but I think that it needed a handful of tweaks that could take it to the next level. And I think maybe yeah, post flats early and hold out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lady Hawk, thank you for following. Um yeah, post flats early, hold out. I like it. We'll see what happens. I don't want to do that though. I want to like get better. I want to put my money where my mouth is. Uh we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So, I'm just trying to like broad strokes figure out what we're going to be doing with the background here. I don't want it this saturated, but I also kind of like, I don't know. I want it like darker on the bottom than it is right now, but I don't know how much darker we're going to be able to get. Yeah, I think it's going to be less about making it darker on the bottom and more about making it lighter on the top to kind of make that work. Yeah, exactly. Uh, I made the mistake of not making myself look good. That won't happen again. No. Maybe I think maybe for like a future video, maybe this Thursday or Friday, we should do a like now that everybody's like done a few of these, we're gonna try to uh, look at mine and see what other people did and try to punch it up. One of the things that I regret doing is not like messing with the asteroid as much. You know, a lot of people did some like cool stuff with the asteroid he was standing on that I was just like, I'm just gonna ignore this. You know, uh, that's not gonna work. Sorry, I got distracted. Um, but yeah, I was excited by all the different versions that everyone had done. We're gonna try some weird shit. A little like splatter color. Uh, basically, I don't have a clear plan for what's going on here, and it's just gonna take a lot of trial and error to kind of like figure it out. I think that my fiance Shannon wants to show me dog memes, but doesn't want to be on camera. Oh, she's taking a picture of De Niro sleeping in the background. He got groomed today. And he desperately, desperately needed it. So that's starting to look good. Yeah, right? Yeah. Uh, so one of the things I like to do with covers is kind of space them out because yeah. He doesn't get a trim, but he has been shedding like crazy. Uh, so like it's kind of the season for that. Um, he just he loved being washed and groomed, and we've washed him, but they use like a special like conditioner that like is de-shedding and all that kind of stuff. So you know they do it up like we do it enough to kind of get by. All right, I think that's pretty good. Uh, let's that looks decent, but we're gonna desaturate it a little because it's a little bright. Um, we're gonna add a highlight. I was actually painting over some of the line art here. I wonder we can open and drop in the line art because we haven't started messing with it yet. Because I goofed that. Let me find it. Three cover A. I think this is it. Yeah. So we're just gonna drop the line art back in. Yeah. See, I was like covering all this stuff up. Yeah. All right. We are gonna cover up that line art at the end, but not right now. Let's drop the line art in the channel so we don't have to go looking for it ever again. Um. All right. Let's render this pipe. I usually so the way I do it, and some of the colorists were actually complaining about this because I gave them the free flats for the colorist jam, and they were working in RGB and I was working in CMYK. The way that I do it is like, so I'm fucking it up right now. Over here, uh, in the palette or in the channels palette over here, you just turn off the black and then turn it on, and like this is a palette that I built specifically that has no black tones in it. It's just cyan, magenta, yellow. It's based off of a palette that I got from Lee Lowridge when I was working at that studio, and then like it's kind of just been tweaked and tweaked and tweaked through over the years. Um, so yeah, that's the kind of palette I use. Obviously, we're way too bright down here, but we're gonna roll with it. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. Nothing is permanent. So yeah, this kind of grungy brush gives you like all the little highlights from the dings of the pipe that will kind of look like they're popping out, but uh, would be a pain in the ass to like go in and put it in by hand. So yeah, I hope I answered your question. I'm like kind of painting under the line art, but I'm not using layers. It's like a built-in channel thing. Now the pipe's getting brighter. Um, so here's the thing too. So the pipe is a metal piece, so it's gonna have like a reflection from the um, it's gonna have like a secondary light source on it. So by using a darker core shadow to kind of like tweak this, we're like creating, like we're softening up the actual shine here, but then we're also creating this secondary light source. And if anybody wants to get these brushes, they're like the one that I'm using right now. I think it's in the mega pack for it's a dry media brush that Kyle, God, I forgot his name. I'm blanking on his name. Uh, Kyle built, and if you search Kyle brushes, it'll pop. Uh, he sells brushes for Photoshop that are really fantastic. And I consider them kind of a necessity. They'll up your game, whether you're a concept artist or what. He sells like a concept artist brush pack that's amazing. Okay, so like the pipe looks rendered a little dinged up, and that's kind of how we want it. We're gonna add just a couple little high highlights on it because it is a piece of metal. So yeah. Whoop. That's not what we wanted to do. That's the wrong tool. So yeah, pipe's looking better. We're gonna put a little bit of a shadow that the pipe is casting. Just a little bit. Cause like here's the thing. We could do like a huge shadow on the pipe and we can make it highs high, lows, but we don't want people like looking at the pipe. That's the thing. Like the pipe should look like it just blends into the background fine. And even now it's like it pops a little too much. We could probably drown it out just like a little bit. Yeah. Like those hard highlights that I put on there. Oop, my cell phone is going off. Are kind of pushing it there. You don't want the highlights here to fight with the highlights here. Like you want this to be where we're looking. So we're gonna do a little bit of tedious work putting in some of the mortar in between the bricks because Jeremy took the time to drew it. The flatter decided they were not gonna flat it, but we're gonna fix that. So yeah, weird. Am I selecting the right thing? I think so. Yeah, there we go. Alright. The flatter. The flatterer. No, yeah, like I said before, I hire out Yes Flat, but they're not exactly the most detail-oriented company. Um, a lot of their flats are missing stuff, which is fine. You know, they charge a low amount and they turn out a huge body of work, so if I have to do like a little bit of the flats myself, I don't mind. Sorry for the fan buzz, by the way. It is hot as hell in Florida, and the Cintiq puts out heat, so we're kind of locked into what's happening right now, audio-wise. Maybe we'll figure out solutions if I stick with streaming for a while. Yeah, a lot of artists start out flatting. I flatted for Matt Hollingsworth for a long time, and Lee Lowridge before that. We're both like colorists who are 10 or 15 years ahead of me. I'm just doing this like real loose, like, because it kind of like disappears and into the liner up here. I'm just trying to create like the suggestion of like this is a different material. So it doesn't have to be totally exact. So I planned on streaming until about 6:30. We're like a half an hour in. Hopefully this thing is close to done. If it only needs like a half an hour more work, and I'm notorious for doing this as well, is where I'll be like, all right, it's done, and then I'll sit on it for a day. If I'm able to sit on something for a day, I'll sit on it and just be like, all right, I'm gonna come back with fresh eyes, because that is like half the battle with visual art and making visual art is like, fatigue. Like things will. That's kind of what I think happened with the Thanos, is that like I just been staring at it for so long, and I was like, oh, the asteroid is fine. We're not gonna look there. And then like I saw other people do cool shit with the asteroid, and I was like, oh man. It's like, having patience is one thing, but then also having the ability to fucking see it in the first place is huge, which is why people do things in like multiple sittings. And a cover is important because this is something I didn't talk about before. Not only does the cover like entice potentially new readers, but this is something that like Magic card people have to think about, and I think the best ones think about it, and the worst ones do not. Is that like I'm working this size, but like when someone sees this in a shop at a store, it's going to be like this size, So it's got to be legible at that distance. Because it's good. They're gonna see it like across the store on a rack. Uh, you know, and you want to draw them in from that distance. So it's important to have that going on. So covers are kind of a weird thing to color. They're a little different than just doing normal coloring. All right. I think the background is done except for yeah, the diamond preview's even smaller. Yeah, exactly. Like, unless you're featured in Diamond, which happens sometimes. I think the sky is done except for special effects. We're gonna do some special effects, but we're not gonna do those right now. I just kind of want to tool around with something. I was thinking about trying to do like, so normally I would just like pull a grad as like a special effect. Like, that doesn't work because we're not on screen. But yeah, something like, like that. Maybe even an orange instead. Um, but this is all like gritty, so I mean, maybe we can do like a splatter thing. Do I have a good like chunky splatter brush? I might not. I have some splatter brushes from Kyle. Like that is a chunky splatter brush. Uh, so we would try to do one side and the other. But here's the other thing with this book is like the title covers like the first quarter of an inch. So like I don't even know if this is worth getting into now that I'm thinking about it. Like uh, I don't know if you guys have seen the the other covers, but I'm trying to give Thomas as much room to work with, but it'll be like you know like this will be covered and it'll say the realm up here. Um, better than this. Obviously far better than this. I'm not a letterer or graphic designer. Uh, but like, so maybe that stuff up there isn't even worth like freaking bothering with. I'm like racking my mind trying to make it as interesting as possible, and we should just probably get into these guys. All right, let's do that. Let's get into the tentacles. Let's get deep into the tentacles. All right. Make sure that we're not selecting anything weird. Little flex. Yeah, I mean, I am gonna leave it for last, like the special effects and stuff. I'm gonna put like a little shine on the axe and stuff. And like the weird octopus creature is actually gonna glow a little bit. But I don't know. It's like sometimes I jump the gun just because it's on my mind and I'm thinking about it. Um, the other thing is like I don't know how much of it like I don't know where Jeremy's and my own followers like intersect and how many of them are on his Instagram and my Instagram, and we want to attract as many people to the book as possible. So it's like, well, if I post without the lettering on the top, without the title, and it looks weird on the top because I'm like, oh, the title's going to cover that, they might be like, hey, this book looks cool, but like that thing looks weird, and that's not what I want either. So it may be worth it to do the extra work, even though only a handful of people are going to see it, because I still want those handful of people to be excited about it and buy the book. So I don't know. Fucking comic book marketing. I don't know. It's all just spaghetti meets wall. Uh, yeah, Yeah, my studio is always like 10 degrees hotter than the rest of the house because like the computer's putting out heat and the Wacom's putting out heat, and now I got two other monitors putting out heat. Yeah, 10 degrees is real. I actually got you kind of can't see it, but the studio moves back and there's a bathroom like way down that way. Um and there's I put a fan over there to pump the cool air from the air conditioning that's hitting the bathroom into the rest of the so to get like double blast, kind of circulate the air. It's a real worry, and I'm in Florida, so it's not exactly cold down here right now. So it's a real problem. So we're gonna go general to specific on these things, and we want when something is kind of transparent, or like you see the guts in between, like a jellyfish or whatever. Uh, the tentacles are round, right? So the places we're going to see the darkest colors of the tentacles are the sides, because we're seeing not only the normal exposed part, but we're seeing the whole side, like in the semi-transparent state. So we're going to try to polish that up, make the edges darker than the center, and try to forget about lighting, because like this guy's going to be his own lighting. um, it's gonna be a weird thing. And then like I don't know with this is he's just like kind of a meat lump. So we'll do the best we can. Work very general to very specific. Yeah, he is like, especially in the summer. I used to work when I was in Philly. I was on a third floor apartment, um, or the studio was on the third floor, and at the height of summer, I would have not only like, so this would be putting out heat, and sometimes I'd have like the television on too. Like Shannon would be sitting there watching the television, so that would be putting out heat, and like heaven forbid she's running the Xbox, like that puts out heat. Uh, yeah, that thing is like a furnace. So we were running. I mean, maybe this is an exercise in like total fucking decadence, but uh, we were running a air conditioning unit in one of the windows, and then we bought a second one, and it was like a balance. We had like two windows, both had air conditioning units cranked up to like make it tolerable, um, in that apartment. Uh, we so this thing kind of turns around, so I want to be able to show that. So I'm breaking my rule there. Um, but yeah, and I kind of did it over here too. Uh, Yeah, we were dying in the summers when it was at its peak. Thankfully, Philly doesn't stay that hot for too long. But yeah, we spent quite a bit of money on our heating and cooling. All right, so we kind of have the lows all figured out. The lows all figured out on the edges here, but let's make the highs higher. And like I said, this stuff doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to kind of like start to build the idea. And I might actually make this guy a little bit more red than he is, because I don't want him to blend with the cape, even though I think that's going to be kind of unavoidable. So we're going to mess with the sliders after this. It's gonna be unavoidable if we keep him red. Um, we might mess with the sliders and be like, oh, like we shifted it over a little bit, and this color is far more interesting. That happens. Be open to the spontaneous. We're also, all of this line art is going to get knocked out. It's all going to be colored uh, when we're done. So, alright, let's look at this and try to figure out if we're going to keep them red or shift them around. Like, the blue looks cool, but I'm trying to stay away from blue in general for this book. Like, the look of the book. Because there's going to be a punch with the blue, like, way late in the issues that I don't want to spoil for anybody. That's good of Jeremy to send you here. He's looking out for you. Let's up the saturation, kind of make it nuts. Yeah, Jeremy's trying to do his best to look out for you. You should listen to him. All right. So he like kind of like, so this bullshit here, like, what does this mean? No idea. I don't know if Jeremy had a clear vision when he was doing this either. Like, I think he was just like, I don't know, weird and slimy, like that kind of. He was just kind of like in the mode of like putting down the texture. I mean, maybe he did have a clear vision, and I am not interpreting it correctly. But we're gonna try to just kind of go in and put detail down where we think that the detail should be. This is kind of like the tedious part of the coloring, because like we've done all the fun like figuring out the palette kind of stuff. So also, hey, as I'm working on this, I just realized this tentacle's fucking gross. Like, what kind of book is this? What are we doing? Yeah, I gotta start reevaluating some things after this. Maybe the fact that it's like kind of this fleshy color makes it a little more gross. Yeah, weird tentacle lines. Enjoy. Yeah, this is the plight. This is the struggle of colorists. Is like there's all these like situations where the artist will be like, this is the thing, and it looks good enough, and we're done now. And we're just gonna pass it off. I mean, Jeremy doesn't. Jeremy's usually really detail oriented, and I have some artists that I work with that are like really detail oriented, like more so than he is. Uh, but some are like, well, we've done all we can. Now it's time to pass it on. And some of it is not necessarily that they're trying to be like, you deal with this, and some of it is that they've just been working with me for a while, or they see my work and they trust me, so they're they're just like, Nick will do a good job. Uh, Less judgy and more just like, confident, and also, like wanting me to like put my spin on things. The more specific they get, the less open to interpretation things are. So I don't mean to say it to be like, fuck these artists, fuck these fucking ink jockeys. Uh, but to be like, hey, like this is a thing that you deal with when you're a colorist. And in the beginning, like, you're like, oh god, they want me to add my own spin on this. Like, what am I gonna do? And then like by the end, you're like, oh great, they're letting me add my own spin on. Like, not that this is the end, but when you get enough experience under your belt, you get excited about stuff like that. And you should look at it as like, if there are aspiring colorists watching this, as like opportunities to learn and grow instead of like cursing their name. Because like, this is the other thing, is like, fucking comics is like, you're sitting alone in your house and you see all your coworkers like maybe a couple of times a year. Some, like, I haven't even met like John Rivera, one of the Cave Carson co-writers, um, just because he lives in a, if he doesn't go to a con and I don't go, and that I'm at, and he goes to a con, you know that I'm not at, like, I'm not gonna bump into him. But yeah, you get in your own head because you're just sitting here grinding it out day after day after day, and part of that battle is like keeping positive, and like, it's easy to be like, to have the mentality of like, why did this person fuck me? I have all this work to do, blah 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 blah. That, and then when you're in that headspace, it comes out in the work. Like, you don't make as good work. Uh, so my advice to any aspiring person trying to get into comics would be like, beyond the fundamentals of like how things are built and how things how you're gonna digital paint or do whatever you need to do. Beyond that stuff, like, the psychology is equally important, and being in the right headspace is equally important. You want to be a positive person, because when you're not, the work suffers and you're also miserable. So it's a twofer. Yeah. So instead of seeing places where like an artist was vague or maybe not as solid as they normally are, you should look at that as opportunity to be like, oh, I'm gonna knock this out of the park. Like, this person trusts me enough to deal with this. Or even if they don't, be like, I'm gonna try something new. Because that's how you grow. Growing is good. So this thing's looking real gross. It has spikes on it on one side for some reason. But it's like, I think it only has spikes right there, right? Yeah, well, I guess it is like kind of ridged. Maybe we're just seeing the underside. We're gonna kind of do these spikes a little better than I'm doing them right now. So like, a little placeholder. I just want to kind of shine it up, but we're gonna do some like weird little cast shadows on one side. We can zoom in a little too so you can actually see what I'm doing. Just like bopping them in. Like I said too, like, all this line art is gonna get colored So, and then we're gonna be coloring on top of all this too to make it kind of like skeezy. Like you'll see what I'm saying when we get there, when we get to that point. So this doesn't have to be super specific or accurate, tight. A lot of my stuff, like you look at somebody like Matt Wilson coloring Jamie McKelvey, and his line art is so tight. There's like no room for error. Uh, I think Matt is a good person to color that stuff because he has fine attention to detail. Um, and I have attention to detail, but man, like I really love broad strokes more than I like detail. Um, yeah, like shark skin, kinda. I think that's what's going on. But we're not gonna do gray because gray is boring. Uh, but yeah, McKelvey's stuff is like so detail oriented. If you look at, so I'm gonna be replacing my banner this year, but my old banner was a cover that like the cover worked at cover size, 6 by 10, but then I blew up the cover to be like 6 feet tall or whatever, and like every little stray pixel that like you couldn't see in the actual cover production was visible, and that's kind of where we're at right now. We're like, let's just chuck a bunch of like color down in general terms because I know I'm going to be like covering up and tweaking it and like like for example like this is not accurate, but like no one's going to see that, so we don't have to worry about it. Especially when we start punching out the line art and stuff. Uh, but if I blow it up to like 10 feet tall, we're going to start to get in trouble. So let's not blow it up to 10 feet tall. Let's just make comics and not make banners. Comics, not banners. Run for the cure. Comics, not banners. Yeah, I made a new banner. I've designed it already. It's kind of like based on the Cave Carson #1, because I feel like a lot of people are picking that up, reading it, and recognize it. Yeah, no life side display. And Justified is now following. Thank you. Uh, so yeah, it's no life size display. Uh, but yeah, so I made that banner and I was like sweating the detail because I didn't sweat the details before. I was like, yeah, it's fine, whatever, run it. And now I'm like magnifying glass like over the Cintiq, like, oh shit, because I don't want to make the same mistake again. And I don't want somebody to walk by and be like, this fucking colorist forgot all these pixels. And be like, no, you don't understand. In context, it's appropriate. It's fine. But yeah, Wilson's really good at like making sure the tight stuff is all taken care of. I don't think I could color Jamie McKelvey as well as he does. And that's fine. We're different people. So this thing's looking gross. Still, we are living in it. Forever ago, when Sean Murphy was starting to break in the industry, I went to school with him. Him and Christian Donaldson and Chad Thomas and Matt Wilson. He was offered a book, and this was like early in our careers, to like work on a pitch with an established professional who had connections that he turned down, and I was like, why? It was like a cool pitch, and it was a Man Thing And I want to get into the pitch because the pitch is really good, and he's still writing and might use it for something else. Um, all these messed up pixels. Let's see these messed up pixels. Yeah, right? This guy doesn't know what he's doing. This guy's a mess. Who colored this? Wait, did I color this? Did you just blow up something I colored? I don't know. No, that looks old school. That looks before my time. Uh, but he passed because he's like, you know, Man Thing is like this like creature covered in like trash basically, and he's like, I don't want to like live in that headspace for the next 6 months, like of just like, all right, now I'm gonna think about trash. And it's like, yeah, I didn't think about that. That makes sense. And so right now we're living in this place of to bring it all back, where we're trying to make this as gross as possible. So, dear viewer, I apologize for these weird tentacle things that we're going to try to make gross, because they're going to get grosser as we go. And when you zoom in real close, it's going to be weird and vaginal, and so let's all put ourselves in the right headspace. Yeah. So wait, uh, this quiet city. Are you Sally? Are you in Gainesville, Florida? Did you just launch that Black Mask book? 'Cause I think that's her handle. I don't know if it's her handle on Twitch. Uh, yeah. So I looked for that book on Comixology, and I don't know if like Black Mask puts it on Comixology, because as you know, the comic shop here isn't the greatest. Um, but I wanted to check it out because I wanted to check out your stuff on there. If you want to push it, what is the title? I forgot the title already, but I was like last song, I think, coming out next week. But even like, so Comixology will do like uh you know coming soon kind of things where like you could pre-buy, and it was not listed. Yeah, last song. Yeah, it wasn't listed. But regarding your comment about the swamp life, a friend of mine was inking here in Florida, and then she moved to I forgot where she moved to, but she found that it was like a whole different game, because like the Bristol board that she was inking on was absorbing so much humidity out of the air that like as soon as ink hit it, it just like spiderwebbed kind of thing. Like everything looked fuzzy. And then when she was in this newer place that was like a little more dry, uh, she was like, "Oh, this is a whole lot easier than what I was like having to put up with." I don't know if that's your experience as well, but I don't do any inking, so I think inking in Florida is probably hard mode. You got a new game plus for that. Depends. Brushman's fine. Yeah. Uh, I don't know what this person was using, but whatever she was using, she should have been using brush. So, there we are. I uh, I haven't done drawn comics in a long time, and I think that if I start, I'm gonna start like doing things like fucking full digital because that's where I'm comfortable now. But when I was doing them post college, they were all brush. The brush just cannot be replicated, and even though I'm doing like trying to ink underwater, yeah, that's full hard mode. That's what do they call it in like Doom, like mess my shit up or something like that. Like that is. Uh yeah. But I think I'm gonna try doing like full digital, and the brush still isn't gonna like translate like, but I just have to embrace trying to do things in a different way, and think a little differently. Thinking differently is all right. So this is kind of like the most defined part of the weird octopus thing, so I'm trying to take a little more time on it. Think about it a little bit more. I don't do any layouts. Are you talking about like, well, I'm a colorist, so uh, when I was doing layouts and drawing my own books, uh, I was not that prepared. There's kind of a running theme of, oh, are you talking to Sally? Yeah, you're talking to This Quiet City. Uh, as far as my own process goes, there's a uh, running theme of like, how do we do this fast? I just want to do this fast. Oh God, is it over yet? Like, let's just get it done, kind of thing. Like, the more that I linger on something, the worse it gets, and so I try to sprint through things when I maybe should take time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You do layouts by hand, scan them in. Yeah. Do you blow them up and then print them out on like on Bristol like 11 by 17 and go at it? Just out of curiosity. So one of the artists I work with, uh, on an unannounced project that I can't really get into, but he works. So most artists like comic books, like 6 by 10 ish, like not exactly, but around there. Um, and and then so most comic artists work 11 by 17, around there, at least, uh, in order to like put the detail in and then shrink it because it'll look better. Uh, and this one artist that I work with who is might be like an actual like certifiable maniac. Uh, he is working like 4 times 11 by 17. Like his sheets are, so what is that, like 22 by 34, something like that. Like, it's nuts. I His stuff is like gigantic when you see it in person, and like his attention to detail like reflects that. Uh, because it's all these like just packed, densely packed images. Like, I don't even know. There's got to be stuff that gets lost in like when he scans each, like cuts it in quarters. I assume he cuts it in quarters. I don't even know. And then like scans it in. Maybe he shoots it with like digital photography, like a painter would. Um, and then like works from there. Like a really like like great camera. But all of that I just said sounds like the direct antithesis of like how do we do this quick, which is my mentality. I say that as we're just like noodling on these things, which is not quick. We are not going fast. Yeah. So, I don't know if you want me to use your name or not, but this quiet city, is there a place that people can just like buy your books online? Because I know you do like a lot of like indie zine kind of stuff that you like staple together. I assume you do yourself. It's not like self-published through a company or anything like that. Do you have like an Etsy or something? Because this was something I was going to ask you, but life gets in the way and you get distracted. Okay, it's Sally, right? I think it's Sally. I probably should have figured that out before I introduced the idea of calling you by your real name. Uh, you should. Well, you can put it in the chat if you want, but I'm not gonna remember to look in the chat, so you should tweet it at me too, please, whenever you get a chance, because I'd like to check out some of your stuff. Yeah, right. That's what we got to be doing is AGDQ speed runs, color speed runs. Well, I mean, like technically, like we can just do like that. It's colored. Like we're done. Speed run complete. There has to be like there would have to be like speed, but then also quality. Like it would have to have like a quality grade as well, and then aggregate the scores. This could work. This could work. Comic book speed runs. I'm into this. Um, so one of the things going on with Jeremy's work and this book in general, I've worked on his stuff before where I've like kind of threshold the line art. Um, oh, it's on Gumroad. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna. You know what? You don't have to tweet it at me. I'll open this and keep it open for later. Uh, One of the things Jeremy does is like so his blacks are like have like gray in them and stuff, which makes it a challenge for me for the way that I color uh, the way that I color stuff for the way that I'm gonna color his line art, like because we're gonna start doing that. I usually just select it and then like deselect the white and then fill. But like with the grays, like there's like this kind of like open to interpretation place in here that I'm just gonna like negate or whatever. Uh, and we don't want to do that. So we're gonna threshold the line art so that it looks either black or white. But first we gotta select everything. So we're gonna go through and select all the tentacles, full color and any percent. Yeah, yeah. See, but like the real speedrun would just be like I opened the thing, select all, fill, and that's it. Like you can't do any percent. Any percent's a fool's errand. That's like the Clue speedrun. I don't know. I think Books was talking about that. The Clue speedrun where you just open it up and you say you know who it is and like where in the place they did it and blah 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 blah. You're just like you open it up and you're just like this person in the pantry with the or in the hall closet with the wrench, and you just do that every time until it works out that you're correct. and the speed run's like a second long. The any percent speed run of coloring would be like that. It would just be like, oh, you open the thing and color is down. Yeah, exactly. Just guess immediately. The color speed run would just be like fill immediately and then you're done. You need that quality percent. If you got like a 10 out of 10 quality, but you would have to like figure out a way to combine the speeds. I don't know. This is ridiculous. We are not coloring at AGDQ unless uh you would have to like do an out of 10 quality that like aggregates with a X out of 10 speed. So you'd have to have like markers at certain times that denote speed, so you would like lose percentage points or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, the Minesweeper. I bet it's fucking ridiculous. So I'm making a lot of choices for Jeremy here, because like I don't know exactly how thick he wants these guys, but then he gives me clues like here, uh, and like here. So like this is really thick, but then I kind of went thin, so maybe we should thicken it up just like a little bit. And we can kind of like add a little chunk here and there. Oh, we missed one on this side. Yeah, we'll get this guy. This guy should be easier. It's literally one click. Yeah. Is it like where there's only like one mine on the board and they just open the program and click it? Although if you're racing somebody and then you fuck that one up, like that's a rough beat. Oh, it's specifically placed. This all seems like cheating. This does not seem like skill. I really like speed runs, but watching them be like I like watching the finished results of the speed run. Like this is the speed run to watch. Like I like watching that stuff, but watching the like somebody restart over and over a single part, I just can't get into. I get so bored so quick. I also like also find speedrunning to be, especially if it's like a really interesting game, uh, really engaging. And I can't work while speedrun is on. I tried to watch the Symphony of the Night speedrun uh, at one of those like AGDQs, maybe last summer or the summer before that. Whoa, something's happening with Photoshop. Fuck. Well, here we are. First crash. Rip. Now you see my cluttered desktop. We're gonna try to open Photoshop again. Yeah. I'm not that worried about it. I'm sure, like, so here's the thing. Photoshop should have a version, it's gonna, like, boot up and then give you, like, a recovered version. Um, but what it won't recover is all the tracing I did around the uh, tentacles. Hopefully, it will have recovered the tentacles, and those will be intact. I'll be happy then. But if we gotta tweak them a little, we gotta tweak them a little. Yeah, it was probably Vash. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing right now, but what he's doing has created a butterfly effect that has affected the computer that I'm using that was built in 2008. So yeah, past Vash is fault. Yeah, I mean really, I'm running 2017 software on 2008 hardware, and I've got nobody but myself to blame. Though this is the first crash ever. It hasn't been crashing a whole lot lately, but occasionally I get crashes with this particular book because it's so like high texture, high, like before we're done, we're gonna add a bunch of texture on top of what we're already doing, and it makes the file size like 200 meg, and it you know can't handle that. We're booting up too, so I might be going in and out. Hopefully, we won't drop any frames. Uh, yeah, computer is chugging. Yeah, I really need a new one. I've been trying to like budget a little bit. I yeah, the Apple Color Swirly. Yeah, that's a rough beat. I've been thinking about parting with. I have another little Cintiq that I was using for stuff on the road, but I hate doing work on the road, so I was thinking about putting that up on eBay. And then I have Snatcher on the Sega CD, and that's like a freaking $300 to $500 game. And I don't own a Sega CD, and I'm kind of like, do I need this? Do I really need this? Thinking about putting that up and buying a PC with the profits. Literally slideshows? What games are those? Oh, it's just like the computer chugs and they just can't. There's like zero frame rate. All right, we're back. Give me that recovered file. Pray to the Photoshop god. Is there gonna be a recovered file? Are we just fucked? If we're fucked, we're taking the stream. No, it's thinking. Their internet, yeah. It's thinking. Yes. Yes. Here's the moment of truth. Let's watch this slide bar. See, that wasn't too bad. Oh, did it quit? Guys, it quit unexpectedly. All right, let's. Oh God. Oh God, it's all wrong. File, save as. Let's make steps towards ensuring this future will not happen. Yeah. All right. So all the tentacles and stuff were all selected. Fine. We just gotta. Oh, you know what? I just realized I should have done a little more with the shotgun, but maybe the shotgun can slightly recede to the tentacles. All right. So you're gonna watch me do the same shit I was just doing, cause that's where we are. This is the reality of the business. I used to be afraid of Florida storms knocking power out for like, in our area, we've never lost power for like more than, you know, a minute. But like, 30 seconds of lost power is like, well, the prod. I guess I'm done working for the day. Because you don't know if it's like 30 seconds of lost power and then you work for another like 40 minutes and then it's like 30 seconds of lost power. We're pretty alright though. This is fine. Everything is fine. So now you're getting a quick sample of like when I have to redo shit, I don't do it as carefully. Because now I'm kind of like, oh, I already did this. Let's just get going. So the important parts of like what we're doing around here is making sure that we're not selecting the line art or the cape. But like once we're in the black, it's like just open to interpretation, and my interpretation right now is fast. I wonder if like my browser is eating a little bit of the CPU um, from doing the alerts. And maybe that's why it crashed, because it was trying to like maintain a giant selection and also like multiple windows, and I mean that could be it. I don't know. I actually uh so I actually bought in preparation of buying a new computer soon, uh a Steam Link from when it was on sale, to hopefully play some games out in the living room. Uh, I don't know how well the Steam Link is gonna work. Full disclosure, it was very cheap, and I was like, it was cheap enough to like take a gamble on. Yeah, this is not an endorsement. I'm just like excited to try it. Just to watch videos. Yeah. I mean, it can do that. Uh, maybe I'll Steam Link Photoshop and try to use Photoshop with the controller. Then we're really starting to get into some any percent speed runs. Controller only. I have a Steam controller. I bought it separately like a while ago. Uh, it's really incredible piece of hardware, but it takes so much getting used to, and you gotta like, there's so many settings to tweak that it's a little overwhelming, and you gotta like kind of make it perfect for any game you're using, and then like on top of making it perfect, you gotta get used to like the wheel. But I was playing um, some Torchlight, which is like a Diablo-like clone. Uh, Yeah, the touchpad. Yeah, that's what. So I was thinking, like, I could use Steam controller, touchpad, uh, and do Photoshop. Uh, which is ridiculous, but could be a thing. I don't know. Sorry, I'm sucking down water, like, because it's hotter than hell in here. Like, I have one fan going and I don't want to turn the other one on. Uh, in my air-conditioned house. All right, we have this guy all selected up. Now, please don't crash. Yeah, MS Paint Steam controller speedruns. I like it. I would get down on that. Uh, but yeah, I was using the like touchpad is like amazing. So we just threshold the line art. So we're taking it from like this to this. So now it's either black or white, which lets us in the current selection like deselect. Oh, we missed some. Son of a bitch. This is what happens when you rush. Alright. Now do we have everything? Looks like it. Uh, let's do it again. The top left tentacle bubble? I don't know what you mean. This guy? Why does he look off? Looks fine. Madness. The chat is toxic. Already. Uh, so yeah, now we just take it, deselect the white out of it, and we're able to mess with making color choices for the thing. But like I said, we don't want to use blue. Red's a little on the nose. The top two tentacle tips. Top two tentacle tips. This guy? Yeah, he's got like a little. We'll fix that. I mean, it's a little bit there. I don't know, a little bit there. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. Uh, so let's kind of figure out. I'm looking more in the interiors than the lines on the outside right now. Looking for like a decent color. Like I want to lean blue because red and blue go really well together, but I mean we could also like go lighter. See, but lighter gets like lost. We can go darker. So we're gonna go a little bit darker. Maybe keep it red. Maybe like a purple. Yeah. Feels like it's got like, yeah, hue sliders for their win. Yeah. This is why when people are like, "Hey, uh, you're a colorist. You're probably a great painter." I'm like, "No, no." It's because I get to experiment with like everything. All right, and we're gonna take like a very light color and like do the edges, but I don't know if that's the color we want. Maybe like green. Oh yeah, there we go. That like real light green. So, some of these slimy creatures of the deep, like they have like a membrane around like their actual like skin, and that stuff's gonna be lighter than the other regular like skin and stuff. So that's what we're gonna kind of try to do, and we're gonna try to make it look as like interesting as possible. That's the goal. The goal of all of this is to be like, let's make some interesting comics. Um, let's take something and make it from something like a boring gray thing into like something that's fucking weird. We're gonna save. That's what we're gonna do. Oh no, now we're saving and it's not doing the thing. Saving was our undoing. Alright, alright, we're good, we're good. Yeah, yeah, we want to make the tentacles like real interesting. Uh, because we want to be like, oh, that dude's a badass and he's gonna fuck up that weird monster, and I want to read that, even though this, full disclosure, this tentacle creature is not in the actual issue. Don't judge me. Perhaps we're teasing a future issue. I don't know. I've only done 3 so far. Oop. Oh, that did not work. There we go. Yeah, YOLO and hope nothing goes wrong. Yeah, welcome to like mostly how I handle doing work. Uh, when Photoshop introduced the like, we've recovered your large file, oh my god, it was like a godsend to me. So okay, so this tentacle you're saying like needs a little like weird detail in it, but like when you look at it like this is gonna be like when you're holding the comic in your hand, and like the tentacle looks fine. Even though I fully agree that like, this has got to get like tweaked and that's got to get tweaked. If we're gonna make it perfect, like I colored these guys right here, but this is like 2 pixels in a document that is gigantic. So when it gets put into print, like chances are nobody's gonna see that. But we'll fix it. We'll fix it just to do it. Uh, looks like that is everything. Okay. So we're not really done with the tentacles quite yet. We're gonna select inverse. Yeah, there we go. Hey, love my lovely lasso lumps, alright? Alright, so we got this fucking weirdo. Now let's kind of make him look like he's more jelly than solid. Um, we also want to keep in mind, like, so I did yeah. Oh, it got like all this other stuff. Let's fix this alpha channel. This is super boring, but bear with me. Alright. So, the alpha channel doesn't have any of that stuff. So why would it? Why are you not grabbing it? Oh, we're on the different layer. This is why I don't fuck with layers. This is why every time I use layers, like, shit is wrong. Alright. Because I don't want to have to keep track of it, basically. uh, Alright, so we got a new tentacle layer that selects the tentacles. And we want to, like, make the guy kind of glowish and also light this guy. And I don't know if we're necessarily achieving that yet. So before I start, like, let's feather it 60 pixels. This is like set to screen. So now it's like glowing, but I don't know. It doesn't look great. Maybe if we did like a green on top of the red that we're already doing. That's starting to look better. But we're going to also try to deselect and then select the tentacles again. And then kind of take the glow that's been happening here and erase some of it. Like maybe 50% to start and see like what it looks like. Oh, we're using like a fucking fancy eraser. That's gonna have a loading time. We don't need to do that. Just regular eraser. Just like a block is all I need. This is too much to ask for. No transfer. No, don't protect the texture. This is all I want. Okay. Yeah. Alright. So now it's kind of like glowing a little bit. I mean, this guy's glowing a lot, but like this stuff's kind of glowing a little bit. We're starting to move in the right direction. I wonder if we totally like just fucking clear it. Like, what does it look like? Looks a little better with this. So now we want to kind of add a shine on top. So like, if you think about this, like the drawings that Jeremy put down are the veins that are inside the thing, and we're digital painting all the stuff around it. Um, so of course we're going to be drawing on top of whatever Jeremy put down. So let's do that. We're going to do this on a separate layer just in case it gets to Jeremy and then Jeremy's like, this looks terrible. So we're going to give us a get out of jail free card, essentially. So we're set this to screen, and we're going to take like these reds and kind of like screen them down. So we're going to put these like weird shines into the thing. This is kind of working, but we might need higher highs. We don't need Kirby Crackle. Screen it. So what? So like we're taking a lot of like what Jeremy did and just basically throwing it out the window, or using it kind of as texture rather than actual line art. So he's either gonna be like, "This is awesome," or he's gonna be like, "We need to have a serious conversation." Uh, and but we're giving ourselves a way out because we're gonna be like, "Haha, just kidding." Like, whatever. Uh, so as long as we have a way out, that is all I care about. So I said I was going to do this until 6:30, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So like in 10 minutes, regardless of what this looks like, I'm probably going to close it. And we're also like close enough to the final version that like I don't want to stream just like 10 minutes, 20 minutes of me just like fucking around with sliders. So what we're going to probably do is call it at 6:30 my time, of course. I'm looking at the clock in the corner. Uh, and then uh, if you want to see the final, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be posting up the finals there. And also posting the final with Thomas's awesome header. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but like I usually hate when the logo placement gets put in and like the barcode gets like all that bullshit. But like he actually does a really great job. He's an artist in his own right, and he's like hand drawing the balloons for the book and stuff too. So, but we'll work until I 6:30 rolls around. And I was gonna do some uh, Last of Us tonight, but I might not because I'm a little behind on work from the 4th of July holiday and not only the 4th of July holiday, but the weekend of 4th of July. It's like a weird, like I took the weekend off because it was 4th of July weekend, and then 4th of July rolled around and it's like, well, we gotta cook out, so it ended up in like 3 days of me not really doing a whole lot, so I kind of want to get ahead of something. So yeah, I'll be working on a secret project tonight, but if you do want to check out me playing some Last of Us, it gives you time to catch the VOD if you want to. Uh, and if you want to jump in, I promise I will stream it tomorrow. I might be also going to a child's birthday party tomorrow, but I can't imagine it's going to go that late, and we'll probably stream it at a regular time. So one of the things, like additionally, like this gives us a way out with Jeremy if he doesn't like this. Like we're easily correcting it, but uh, we can also try to experiment because it's got the shine that I just put on over the whole thing has like a little bit of color on it, so we can start fucking with sliders again. Give it like a perp. Oh, I apparently over here that has none of that color. That was a mistake. This has only got a little bit. Things were off the rails. So I guess we're gonna stick with what we got, but you know what? I might redo it. But here is close to the final product. Oh. This is why. Because I'm like, I started fucking with a separate goddamn layer. Oh my god. This is something. Layers, man. Let's confuse everything. Uh we can fix it. We can salvage. Alright. Now we can kind of, you know what, even let's just copy, paste it. Let's fix our mistakes. Okay. So we have inner glow, outer glow. Alright. Let's actual label this stuff. Alright. Now we can actually mess with it. Cause I was gonna say that green kinda looked awesome. The blue looks fucking sweet too. I think the green is more like on theme, maybe a blue green. Like that. Whoo. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. This is the outer glow. I don't even know if we need the outer glow. Let's drop it, and then let's do like another glow on top of everything. It's like an orange. 50%, yeah. Kind of just do like pull some grads in here to like. Maybe like parts of it are like lighting up, but other parts are not. Yeah, now it's looking good. So now it has like complex color going on rather than it just being like one thing. It's like you can feel like it's like there's color layered on top of it. Like it's this, thick like beast, you know. Um, yeah, and we're gonna put a little shine on the axe. This is beast glow. And let's put like a little bit of special effects on the axe. We can. I like these little shine brushes too that we can mess with. There they are. Photoshop, please. There we go. I mean, we can probably like knock that back a bit. It's probably a little intense. Uh, and then we can also fuck with up here. I mean, that's kind of what I like, but we're screen 80%. Oh, we knocked it because we knocked the axe glow back. You know what? Instead of combining things, let's just embrace the fact that like every fucking layer is a special effect. Screen it. Knock it back a little. Desat. Like that. Yeah, we're getting close. We're getting close. Let's also like assume that this otherworldly tentacle monster is like a little bit gross and like has like I don't know, like maybe spores or like you know fucking something nasty coming off it. Um, or maybe even just water, you know? Like it crawled out of something nasty. Let's blur the stuff and then uh, knock it back a little bit. And then we're gonna do like a actual crisp one as well. And then we're gonna tweak that. Is that what we want? I think that's what I want. Yeah, not 50% though, 100. Yeah, yeah. So like you feel like he's like right on top of the fucker. I feel like so when we started we did the figure first and now I'm trying to like incorporate the figure in uh with the beast and like how the beast is glowing and in reality I probably should have like done the way the beast was glowing first so that it would inform me with the figure. I'm actually gonna like uh kind of fix that on my own in a little bit after dinner here. Um, but it's like, it's not going to be really anything worth seeing. It's going to be me messing around with slide bars, messing around with like little grads and stuff. Like it's not going to be fun. Uh, so you guys can catch the final on the on my Twitter or Instagram. And by the way, if anybody hasn't been checking out the Colorist Jam on Twitter, I strongly suggest you do just do a search for hashtag Colorist Jam because there's like a ton of cool shit that people did. Um, but I think that we're close to finished with this, and it is 6:31, so we're gonna call it for now. And I think I'm gonna come back to it either after dinner or tomorrow after letting my eyes kind of take a break and spend the 20 minutes it's gonna take to freaking finish this thing up. Uh, but for the stream, I think we're calling it right now. Um, I think this is an interesting cover though. Like even if it went to print as is right now, and I didn't have enough time to take with it, um, I think I'd still be proud of it. It's still good. Uh, so yeah, we're gonna do some The Last of Us tomorrow at like 8:30, maybe 9 if stuff runs late. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna be drinking at this child's birthday party. That could directly impact if we're gonna stream or not. But if it's not tomorrow, it'll be the day after. I don't want to like tease it out there and then not do it. So in the next day or two, like we'll be doing some Last of Us, and I might do some drawing next week on stream. I'm not the best artist, so don't hold it against me. But we might try to mess around with some of that. Um, like I said, the video game stuff. Thank you. The video game stuff is a little more steady, but the this stuff happens. The art stuff happens whenever I can, and I'm working on a secret project, so I can't really stream any of it. So for at least like the 4 or 5 days that it's gonna take to finish that thing off, I'm gonna be kind of dark for a while. But I'll be back. Don't worry about it. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I will. Whoa. I will see you guys next time.